Wednesday morning. Mets almost blow it last night, but come on. At this point, win about 10 or 12 in a row, and then we'll really start paying attention to you. The Yankees' offense is as bad as it gets, and Sean Casey being hired and hoping that could change the attitude in the room has not worked yet as they continue to lose and lose and lose. We've got the Jets reporting to training camp today. So, yes, we've got two football teams. There's a lot of news and a lot of excitement around, and the Jets get started with the Hard Knocks cameras all over them at Florham Park. And, of course, this giant Saquon Barkley story continues to fester, and we'll see how far he takes this holdout. Boomer's back today, fresh off a trip down to Nashville where he was dancing around, line dancing. He was at Luke Bryan's bar. I got a spotting there. He was at Miranda Lambert's bar. He also went to Dierks Bentley's bar. He was all over the place. And then he went to toured the Titans Stadium and checked that out. And then he went to he made the Predators fly in during their offseason and play a game for him. So it was a wonderful couple days in Nashville. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, I wish. Wonderful couple days at Newark International Airport is what it was. It was 3 canceled flights and everything else. So I finally made it yesterday and made it back last night. It was just a very, very bumpy trip. And there was just, I was caught up in that 1,700 cancellation flights in the tri-state area. And getting to Nashville was not easy at all. So at the end of the day, I did what I had to do, but I didn't get to enjoy any of it. So, but that's just the way it goes. That's
okay.
The way life is. And, you just kind of, put your head down and realize that you can't control Mother Nature.
That's right.
But I will say,
yeah,
there are some inconsistencies with the TSA.
Inconsistencies?
Yeah, because I got through security twice. The second time I got checked and they took my hair gel.
They took your hair gel?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. The first time they didn't have a problem with my hair gel. The second time they did have a problem with my hair gel.
Too much hair gel,
I don't know. It's they said it has to be 6 ounces or less. And I said, well, when I came the other day, it was 6 ounces or less, and I haven't touched it. And why are you taking it now? So, and when that happens, it basically backs everybody up.
Yep.
When you're going through security. And, I have Clear, I have TSA pre-check, I have all that stuff.
Yeah, you don't have hair gel.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That's right. When you get, hard-ass TSA agent.
That's right.
And they're looking at you, and they want that hair gel. They're going to take it from you. Yeah.
Right. Big, tough guy, TSA guy. Give me that hair gel.
This woman was about 5'6", and she was looking at me, and because you can't have this. I said, well, I came here yesterday and I had it, and nobody said anything. Now I come back today, and you're telling me I can't have it. I thought I was Clear. I thought I was TSA pre-check.
Yeah.
You know me as a known traveler. I've been through here 1,000 times.
Just trying to style my hair, lady.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's what it comes down to. And you know what that's like.
Oh, of course.
And then you got to go try to find some, and they don't have any. And then when you sit down at the gate and you're there and the plane is there and people are there, and all of a sudden you get the cancel notice via text twice. Now, it's aggravating, but there's really nothing you could do about it. I'm not blaming anybody. It was all weather related. Thunderstorms all over the place, and there's really nothing you can do about it.
No, it's out of your control.
So you got to embrace it. So I had a double Casamigos, got back into an Uber, and left. What can I tell you?
There you go.
Yes.
That's the only way to do it. You got to make the best of a situation. You get those lemons, you got to make the lemonade. You can't complain. You can't say, woe was me. You just got to power right through it.
You got to power right
through it. As a man
yes.
who never complains about anything, Boomer,
no.
I'll tell you, that's what I do. I just power right through things and never bring up when things aren't going my way.
So it was interesting.
Yeah.
A couple selfies here and there, a couple autographs here and there.
Nice.
Just the basically wasted hours at the airport, but
sure.
What are you going to do about it, right?
Nothing.
You just got to get up and you got to live through it. And then you got to watch the Mets and the Yankees just absolutely slog through the second half of the season.
Brutal.
Especially the Yankees. I mean, Jesus.
Brutal.
I mean, losing 4 out of 5 to start the second half. These two teams are in the danger and are the precipice, and the Mets may already be there.
They are.
Of irrelevancy. And we often talk about the sports teams around here and trying to remain relevant, trying to engage your fan base, making sure that you're able to sell your season tickets and your promotions and all your sponsorships and your boxes and all that kind of stuff. And, the Mets spent over $350 million on a team where you heard last night the anger in the booze as the bullpen started to melt down.
Yeah. And they were
yeah.
having a blast, too. I mean, you saw the crowd prior to that. Everybody was happy. It was a decent crowd, smiling, drinking, dancing, doing everything. It's like, hell, we got a nice night at the ballpark in the summertime. Mets are playing well. Young kids are hitting home runs. Beatty and Alvarez were having a great night. And then all of a sudden it turns into boo. But they hang on.
I mean,
and they
again,
win a game that doesn't mean anything that we'll forget in
that's
like 6
right. Well,
hours.
it's at least it's 2 in a row. But I will say that both the Mets and the Yankees, their bullpens have been imploding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, absolutely imploding. Now, the Yankees have no offense,
right? It's
and
really
they can't.
bad.
You know, with Aaron Boone cannot give us a timetable for Aaron Judge. He doesn't know whether it's days or weeks, or whether he comes back at all.
Yeah, and I remember there was one of the days that you were out, and Jerry heard a report in the Yankees pregame when he was watching it from Meredith, where she said the Yankees are still hopeful that Aaron Boone comes back this season. And this was weeks ago. This is prior to us knowing about the ligament and you drawing on my foot and all that stuff. We thought he was going to be back in just like a week or two. She was, the Yankees are still hopeful that Aaron Boone comes back at some point this season.
Judge, yeah.
Aaron Judge comes back at some point this season. And I said, she must have misspoke. There's no way. Some point this season, not like some point this month or some point some point this season. And it turns out that that's exactly what she meant, because right now that's in jeopardy. Aaron Judge coming back at some point this season feels like it's in jeopardy. I still think that he will come back, but will it be too late as this team just flounders and flounders and flounders? And if you look at some of these guys' seasons that they are putting together, I mean, Anthony Rizzo is just lost. I don't know how you can continue to throw him out in that lineup.
It has been like 2 months of a guy that has been swimming and just can't get a hit.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it really is incredible.
Cannot hit a home run?
Well, he can't do anything. I mean, he's hitting about like 120 over his last 40 games. I mean, it's got to be the worst stretch of his career. There's absolutely no way it could be any worse than this. And I know that his buddy is Aaron Judge, and I know that he benefits from him being around in the clubhouse and in the lineup, but this is unacceptable. I don't know if he needs the mental break that Daniel Vogelback got from the Mets.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, not very well. He did come back at a couple of hits, but then, of course, he's Daniel Vogelback, so it doesn't matter.
Most of our DHs are left-handed and squatty type players.
Yeah,
like
squatty
DJ Stewart.
Yeah,
squatty lefties.
I thought DJ Stewart worked here on the overnights occasionally.
Maybe.
Isn't that, or that's EJ Stewart? That's right, the great EJ Stewart, not DJ Stewart.
Okay.
Yes, small and stocky and yeah, squatty potty.
And then of course you have Beatty hitting a home run last night that makes a mistake in the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are the things that are going to go on when you're playing rookies and they're learning their craft, and it's one game after the next, and they got to get used to it, and they got to think. Remember when you were a kid and you were playing baseball, what did the coach say to you? Before the ball is hit to you, you got to
suck.
think. Well, okay. You got to think about what you're going to do if the ball is hit to you, right?
Mm-hmm. You got to think ahead. Yep.
That's exactly
what are you going
right.
to do? Ball gets hit to you out there in left field, where are you throwing it? If you got a runner on first, you got nobody on first, what are you doing? You got to think ahead.
I don't know. I'm glad the Jets are reporting today, and they're ready to rock and roll. They're not going to be showing players getting cut on HBO Hard Knocks. I think most people really appreciated that part of it. The Jets
appreciated what part of it? Watching players get cut?
Well, yeah, watching that interaction between, hey, get your playbook. The coach wants to see you.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know. Jerry and I talked about this yesterday. It's every one of those scenes is exactly the same, because generally it is not a player of significance. It's someone that when they pare the roster down from 90 players to 70 players and 70 to 53 and all that, these guys have an idea that it's coming, and they sit down and they basically say, hey, you did everything you could. You really appreciate you out there, and we're going to try to get you out there. Maybe somebody else picks you up. If not, practice squad's a possibility, but appreciate your time here.
No players have really snapped.
I mean, it's really, nobody's like, screw you, coach, F you, and then sets himself on fire and runs out of the building. It doesn't happen.
I know, but the Jets are not going to show that part of it because they believe that it's demeaning to the players.
Well, okay.
I mean, that's your Jets.
That's Rob Sala's Jets, right?
Yeah, it's demeaning to the players.
Yeah, to me, I don't think we're going to be missing much.
Holy God, are we soft? Oh, my God.
Well, I just think that they don't want to do this, period. You know what I'm saying?
They don't. Then they're going to make it difficult on HBO. But unfortunately, the rules state, and they are part of a 32-team partnership.
Right.
And you have to follow the rules. Now, I guess you can limit some access, and they will. But it's going to be really interesting watching how this plays out because I could see HBO complaining to the NFL if the Jets aren't as cooperative as they need to be.
Listen, if the Jets try to make it hard on HBO, that's when it becomes a distraction. And that would be on them. You know, they could talk all they want about this being a distraction at training camp. If they try to make it hard on them and actually go out of their way to be difficult, then you're wasting time, then you're wasting energy, and then it's a distraction. Just go about your business. And the cameras are going to be there. And there's going to be some creative license from the Jets where they're going to be able to say, don't put this out there, don't put that out there, and they'll be able to do some of that. But, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is focusing on trying to not give content to the HBO cameras, to me, that's a waste of time. Just do it. Just go out there and be you.
Yeah, the other thing, too, is like two-a-days aren't what two-a-days used to be.
Yeah.
And they're not even remotely close to what we remember as two-a-days. And you playing at Bellport.
That's right, summertime.
You remember what two-a-days were like, even though like we have a 20-year difference between you and I. Your two-a-days were not much different than my two-a-days.
It was absolutely the pits. But
it was fun.
It got us in shape, and by the end of it, you felt like you were ready to go. But, yeah, I mean, those summertime two-a-days where you'd wake up very early in the morning, go out there, practice, gets hot, then you'd go home. I would take a nap. I'd wake up and go, oh, my God, I got to do that all over again. Go back to the field. You get a little more hitting in the afternoon. And, yeah, I mean, you did that for about 2 weeks. Yeah, and when you were out of that, you were in shape. You were 100%. There was no two ways about it.
The interesting thing about all of this is that the Jets do have the Hall of Fame game, so they do have one extra preseason game. So they have 4 preseason games. When I played, we had the Hall of Fame game. We had 5 preseason games, and we had literally 4 weeks up to at least 5 weeks of two-a-days, where Wednesday was one practice.
Yeah.
And Sunday night and Sunday was off. So you had Monday morning, you're on the field at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and you were out there until 11. You'd have lunch, go back and nap, and you'd be back out on the field, I think, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that went on for about 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
Wow.
And you were out there in shoulder pads and helmets.
Sweltering heat
in Wilmington, Ohio, which is in the middle of Ohio, in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
No water, just cornfields for miles. And it was hotter than hell.
Yeah.
And I remember getting there my rookie year. There, you didn't have air conditioners. And I'm like, what is this? I mean, I thought we were like in a prison camp.
I mean,
and so the next year I finally come back and I said, this is bull crap.
Yeah.
I got air conditioners. I got king beds for the offensive linemen. I took care of everything. And you should see these. I had these trucks come in with all the beds and the air conditioners and all that stuff. And I said, I'm not doing this again.
That was all on your own dime?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, the Bengals couldn't step up for you and be like, listen, this is what we need to have a productive training camp?
No, I mean, Paul Brown was still living at the time.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, Paul Brown was really hard-ass. He's a great coach, and a lot of his principles still stand to this day, and a lot of coaches still organize practices. You talk to Bill Belichick, he'll tell you the history of Paul Brown and the impact that he had on all the coaches that have ever coached in this league. Mm-hmm. And a lot of his principles and a lot of his rules and the way that he ran things still exist to this day in some shape or form. But back in those days, he ran 6-7 week two-a-days when the NFL players really had no say in anything. And then when I got to Cincinnati, he was still the owner there, and he still ran it that way, bare bones. Don't make it too comfortable for the players. We want to harden and sharpen them, and we want them ready to go for the season. That was his mindset. And if you think about that, that's the mindset you and I grew up in high school.
Oh, damn right. We used to call it double sessions. That's what
Yes.
it's called. Double sessions during the summertime. And, yeah, I mean, I look back on it now, and I think there was a lot of that I still hold to this day. And one of the big things was don't be late.
Don't ever be late.
If you were late, I mean, I still to this day I'm just not a guy who's late. And when I get nervous about being late, I get these flashbacks to Joe Sipp and Roy Still screaming at me out on the football
gassers?
field. Yeah, all that. Yeah, or you have to run around the field or run a mile or whatever if you ended up being late. But I was never late. But if you're the guy who was walking out of the locker room and the horseshoe was already intact and the coaches were standing there, oh God.
Yeah, but
you were in for it.
But how funny was it? What it was? Somebody else.
I mean,
it was hilarious.
Yeah, but you couldn't laugh. You could laugh inside, but when the coaches are ripping this guy apart, you better have your hands behind your back and not say a word.
Oh, we were crying laughing.
Oh, yeah.
I was laughing my ass off. Because I never got, I would get in trouble every now and again, but never like that. I was never late.
Yeah. So, by the way, speaking of the Bengals, when the hell are they going to announce the Ring of Honor for this year so we could see if you made it for year 3?
I don't know.
It's got to be this week or next week,
I
right?
would think so.
This is when they announced it last year.
I would think so. I don't know why you're so obsessed over this.
Why wouldn't I be?
I don't.
I mean, I work with you.
Yeah.
This is a big honor. It was. I think all of us, if you do get in or when you get in, whether it's this year or next year or the year after, that we'll fly out there and be a part of it with you.
Why do you feel that way?
Because I just think that's what we would do as a supportive group. I just think that's the way that it's got to be.
Okay.
I mean, if any other of us, let me hear that again, Fleeks. Last year
it was the morning of July 20th, the Wednesday of this week.
Okay, the Wednesday of this week. So
it could mean today around 9 a.m.
Huh. All right. I like the sound of that. Or maybe it's tomorrow. July 20th again. That's just their day. Who knows? But if any of other, if me or Al or Eddie or Jerry, I mean, Jerry got the New Jersey Sportscaster of the Year.
He did. I mean,
and he didn't go to the ceremony. He actually declined going to the ceremony. But if he had, we would have gone with him. That's just one of those things. I
don't remember that.
We're just that.
I don't remember making plans going to that.
Well, we didn't have to because he declined the invite, so we didn't make plans.
Okay.
But we would have gone with him.
What happens if I decline the invite?
Well, that's not going to happen.
How do you know?
Come on. You'll be there whenever it is.
You wouldn't do that to the fans of Cincinnati.
No, of course
on.
Not. Of course not.
Yes, you would. You'll
I'm
be there.
I'm just saying. Like I made Poe Jerry Recco. I didn't realize he did that. But then again, I think I remember being thankful that he did that, so we didn't have to go to that.
Yeah, but also, he had to pay his own way down there and everything else.
Yeah,
so
that's not good.
it was one of those things.
I hope I don't have to pay my own way if I get in.
Well, it is the Bengals.
They've changed over the years. They have figured it out.
Well, they're making more money than ever, too, right?
Well, too, yes, and they have a great team, and their team is going to be like front and center on national television every week, and they're selling out their stadium now. I mean, if there were ever a time to go in, now is the time to go in.
Now is it.
Now is the time to go in.
Damn right.
100%.
All right, it is Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. Jerry's got some good stuff for us.